What's good, everybody? So today I have my man KB in the chair in the video that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. KB is one of our barbers from the Land O'Lakes location. That was the shop I was at for 7 years before I recently moved to the Sun Lake location. Now, unfortunately, KB came in like right before I was leaving and we got to connect. Man, great dude. Wish I had more time with him, but anyways, he asked me if I would cut his hair, so he came over to my shop. We had a great time together, and I gave him a nice clean cut. He enjoyed it, he loved it, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So let's go ahead and jump into this video. All right, once again, we have KB in the chair. As you can see, KB doesn't have waves. However, we still combed his hair in the direction that it needed to go. And, and now we're just cutting it with a 1.5 blade with the Ostra Octanes. I'm going to do that all over. As you can see, his front lineup is kind of thin. And unfortunately, the last barber who cut his hair took it back to the darkest point, which he was not happy with. So today we're going to throw some color enhancement in there and some fibers, give him the opportunity to grow that back or to grow it fuller. And, that's why I like color enhancements, man. This is such a blessing. But anyways, let's go ahead and pause this really quick. As you can see on his front vertical bar, I'm trying to bring it more at an angle because when I was looking at it, it was kind of going more straight down. It still had a little slant to it, but it was more straight down than angled like I like. I usually like it to angle towards the corner of the eyebrow, somewhere around there, but a nice good slant to it. And the reason being is whenever you slant it going towards the eyebrow, what happens when you look forward, then it looks nice and boxy and straight. However, if you bring it straight down, which I see a lot of new barbers doing, when you bring it straight down and you look forward, it actually looks like the box is going back, the vertical bars are going back. So that's something that you want to pay attention to. And because his was kind of coming more down, I didn't want to touch that bottom part of the vertical bar. So I'm just, trying to stay away from that with my trimmers and tap more in that upper area. And I'll do that once I really start, fine tuning the lineup. However, just be aware that if it's, don't push it back, too far. But if it is kind of going down, just tap at that top corner to, kind of give it that slant, So anyways, let's keep going. Now I'm just going to go ahead and do a lineup all around his head. Not worried about it being my finished product. I just kind of want to see where that taper is going to fall at because we're doing a low taper on him. And sometimes I'll do even all over and then I'll come back and do the taper and then I'll line it up. This time I just wanted to line it up before we do the taper, and it doesn't matter what order you do it in. This is the order I decided to do today. So once again, I'm using those S.Craft sabers and I have that flex blade on there. Once you get those things adjusted good, man, they smack, man. I really like them. I like the flex as well. So while I'm, lining them up, I figured I'd hit that side of the beard as well. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just clean up this front lineup, and I'm being very gentle. I don't want to take it back. There again, if we took it back to the darkest part, it would be up there. So we're just trying to, hit the very tips of it, still make it nice and straight, so that way when we put the color enhancement, we have a guideline to go by. And then we'll put them fibers in there, and it'll make it look nice, man. It'll make it look full. And if he can't grow it back, it looks full. If he can grow it back, it gives him time to grow it back while still looking full. So I love color enhancement, man. I mean, dude, I've been in the game for so long, and a lot of people hate on it, especially old school barbers. I am an old school barber, and I love it, man. I love it. So anyways, we're gonna jump into this back taper. I'm not gonna punch the hard line in with my trimmers. I'm just gonna go up and set that first guideline with the clipper closed. Now I'm gonna go ahead and open it and set that second guideline with the clipper fully open, and then I'll close it halfway and just start tapping at that bottom guideline that we created to blend it into that second guideline. Now, I've told you guys several times, one of the things that I do is, man, I will just try to fly through a haircut to lay down the foundation. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then, you know, if you have 20 minutes left of your appointment time, then that's 20 minutes left of detailing. But if you only have 5 minutes left, you know, at least you have the majority of the cut looking clean. Maybe it's not perfect, but at least it gives you some time to, you know, do some detail work. So I went with the one blade open, created that third guideline, and then I flipped it over and, you know, just started going with the grain. Now I'm closing that number one and just, you know, tapping at that darker line to try to blend that into that third guideline that I created. I found out that whenever I go with the grain, a lot of times it'll help smooth some of that out, you know, some of the dark, bulkier area, and just tie that blend together a little bit better. So whenever you're cutting curly hair, man, try different directions. And, you know, sometimes that it'll actually smooth it down so that you can cut back into it, and it just gives a nice, clean, smooth blend. Try it out, man, it helps. So I don't know if I changed over to the zero guard yet. Maybe I have now, but usually if I can't get that to tie together like I want to with the one closed, then I'll go ahead and throw a zero guard on there, and either, you know, I'll start with it open or halfway or closed, just depending on, you know, if I feel like I'm getting any hair with it or not. And a lot of times I'll come in, even if that is the zero guard, I'll come in and tap with corners. As you can see, I have no guard on there now, and I'm just tapping with the corners, trying to knock out any dark spots. And I'm being very light when I do that, so I don't dig and create, you know, new lines or holes, right? So, and if the hair is growing in different angles, you know, you'll see me turn my clipper, tapping at those hairs at the angle that, you know, they're growing in, to try to come against it and knock it down. So now we're going to move to the side taper, and we're just going to go ahead and same process. Start with the clipper all the way closed. I can always come back and clean it up with the trimmer afterwards, right, to make it shorter. But we start with it closed with our first guideline, open it up, go up just a little bit, and you know, with that blade fully open, you create that second guideline. Then you close it halfway and blend those two together. Now back to my number one fully open, and we're just going to go ahead and make that third guideline. A lot of times, especially if I did a 1.5 all over, then I'll just kind of float that 1.5 open. I'm not really putting pressure on it. I'll put pressure on it closer to the bottom of the head, like, you know, where the taper's at. And as I go up, I just kind of float it and flick it a little bit, so that way, you know, it kind of blends into that 1.5. But as you can see, I'll flip it over, go down. It combs it down and smooths it by cutting some of the hairs that are curving up. You know, I'll just go ahead and do that. And then I'll close it. And if I need to go to the zero guard, then I'll go to the zero guard. And then now come in using the corners, tapping up any little dark spots just in lines to make sure that we blend this together. And you'll see throughout this video that as I'm cutting, you'll see that there's times I may be fading the beard, working on the beard. However, because I'm looking at the beard work, my eyes are fresh now to look at the fade. So I just kind of move back and forth. And if I see something while I'm fading the beard, if I see something in the taper area, I'll reach up and I'll tap at it and go back to fading the beard. But sometimes you stare at something so long and you just lose. It's like it just, everything looks blurry. You miss stuff. So right now, there again, I'm moving to the beard section, and you know, I'll go ahead and take that number one open, go down a little bit, and now that I'm fading up against the beard, I like to start open and then I'll close it as I go up. But see there, I looked up and I seen something I didn't see before. And because I'm standing at a different angle, because I have fresh eyes to look at that taper, I can just tap on that as I'm going. See, doing it again. So it's just different angles also show you different things. You could be looking straight on and see one thing, and then if you'll move towards the back of the head and look at it, you'll see something totally different. So I closed that number 1 on the beard, and then I just took that guard off. Usually I don't use a 0 guard much on beards. Sometimes I do, but now, so I went with the 1 open and moved up a little bit on the beard, 1 closed, and then I moved up a little bit with the no guard open, and then now I'm just going to close it halfway and then close it all the way to blend it out. So coming together, and there again, we can always fine tune it towards the end. Right now we just want to make sure that, you know, that it's coming together. So I asked him, do you like the shaver? Some people don't like the shaver, and some people that shaver will make them, you know, bump up or break out. So make sure that you ask people before you just grab a shaver and start using it. Make sure you ask. Now I'm going to take the 1.5 and I went down with it to continue to create the shape that we're trying to do, which is tighter, you know, and then fading down into that length. And so anyways, I did that 1.5 closed going down, or excuse me, yeah, I think it was closed going down, and then I flipped up and I just went, you know, up against it. Now I'm doing the 2, dropped a little bit lower, doing the same thing with the 2, going down, and then I'll flip my clipper over and go up. And now if it's not blended all the way, or I see something, you know, in the shorter hairs like I'm doing now, I want to tie that together a little bit better. So I just use the 1 open, and if I need to close it, then I'll do that as well. So we're just going to go ahead and throw that back line up on the beard, and yeah, just clean that beard up a little bit as far as the lineup. And I'll always come back later with the razor and clean that up. So right now I'm just focused on shape. It doesn't always have to be perfect, and sometimes you know, like I said, I'll leave little hairs or something I know I can get with the razor. So I don't want to add a bunch of work that I don't need to. Sometimes I do, and some people may look and say, why are you doing that? You just add more work, you know. Sometimes I do. So now I kind of tilt his head at an angle so I can see the bottom of the beard, and as you can see, I'm just freehanding the shape. We wanted to leave it longer in the chin area, but kind of bring it up at an angle. So I'm just kind of creating that shape, so that way whenever you're looking from the front, it looks tighter but longer, and it gives the face that longer shape, so that the face looks thinner and sharper. And once I have everything pretty much knocked down with my clippers, then I'll come in and I'll use my trimmers and just create that line. Then I can see, you know, some more of those loose hairs, and I'll just use my trimmer to continue shaping that beard and cleaning everything up. But shapes on beards, man, they definitely, you know, will change the shape of your face, right? So a lot of guys that I cut, they want their face to, they want more of that Spartan, you know, chiseled, you know, jawline look. So a lot of times what I do is I'll just go ahead and, you know, tighten it up on the side with the fade, and then I bring it down at an angle, and, you know. So anyways, we're gonna jump into this color enhancement, and I obviously am spraying on the color right now. And if we left it like that, it would be okay, and some people do that. However, I don't like to just do color enhancement, especially if it's black hair, because it seems like, you know, it doesn't blend in as well. But whenever we throw them fibers on there, like black hair fibers on top of that, and sometimes I use like a dark brown color, dark brown black, and then dark brown fibers. And anyways, I put those on because it just makes it look like it's actual hair instead of just color on the skin. So once I have the color down, I'll come in, spray some hairspray, and then I put the fibers on there. And I want you to notice something. Someone pointed this out to me the other day. I'm not just hitting at the front line, I actually go over the top with it because I want that fiber not to just cake up right at the front. I want it to flow all over the head on top, so that way it actually looks like it's all the same color and it's blended. Because if the hair's kind of one shade of black or brown and you add that on there, then it looks different right up front. It looks more cakey. So if you just kind of hit it up front and then aim it towards the top and make sure you kind of spray some on top, it'll blend that in better. And then I'll line it up. We just want to go ahead and, you know, follow the same line we did earlier. And I hit it again with hairspray. Why do I do that? Because I want to give it that sandwich effect, man. It's holding it from the bottom and the top. Then I come in and I blow dry. And I found that the blow dryer will help set that color in so the color lasts longer and doesn't wash out easy. And then obviously with the fibers, whenever you put that hairspray on there and then you hit it with that blow dryer, then what it'll do is it just hardens and it'll keep it in a lot better as well. And most of the people that get color enhancement and hair fibers, they know how to take care of it. Most of them wear, you know, their do-rags and stuff at nighttime when they sleep so it can keep it, you know, fresh longer. And I've had people, man, that know how to take care of it, and it's a week or two later and they still have it. I have to clean it out of their head in order to apply new stuff. And you know, when they get in the shower, they're bathing everything else and they try to, but they're real funny about that front, you know. So once we line everything up, now I come in with the razor just to sharpen it up and to get rid of excess hairspray and fibers that may be on the forehead, so that way it looks nice and clean, right? And we'll go ahead and hit that razor on the beard. Make sure you pull the skin tight. My first time using a razor, I took a slab of ham off the back of someone's head because I didn't know you were supposed to pull the skin tight. So make sure you're always stretching that skin out before you hit it with the razor. And now I'm gonna go ahead and his head might look a little shiny. Once I got all the fibers off, I'll throw a little more hairspray on there. And that's fine with me, even after hitting it with the razor. Now I'll come in with my fade blade. And this is a master fade blade, and I'll just clean up those loose hairs. Once I have it pretty shaped and cleaned up, then I'll come grab my curved shears and hit it with the curved shears just to make sure, you know, it's looking nice and fresh. And it's coming together, man. My man's happy, so I'm excited about that for sure.
Is that the same person?
Dang, bro. He's liking it. Look at that, he loves it.
Cut.
So listen, if you guys aren't following me on Instagram, you can follow me at S.Craft_blends. That'll be a blessing. And until next time, God bless you guys. Peace. I'm out of here.